Hi, I'm Rebecca Caraveo, and welcome to the Art Buzz section of Chuck Leonard's Central Valley Buzz. My guest today is Jesse Merrell. Welcome to the Buzz.
Well, thank you for having me, Rebecca.
Jesse is the recent winner of the Hannah S. Barsom Award, which in photography. It's a citywide.
Well, it's actually an endowment that was left by Hannah Barsom, who was actually a student at Fresno City College. And when he passed away, he left an endowment. And part of that was to have this award every year, which is a scholarship of $1,500. And that was to be presented to one student who showed excellence in photography in every year.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's look at the picture real quick. This is up at City College. They've been able to remodel the photo lab at City College. It is state of the art. It is fantastic.
Right.
It's completely different from when I went there a few years ago. No giggling. But I tell you, I mean, I was a lab assistant. Of course, I'm a photographer. Jesse is also a member of Spectrum Gallery, so I've been a photographer for 20-something years. So, yeah, it's changed a whole bunch from our tray line. So now it's all state-of-the-art, beautiful computers with Photoshop and all that.
Right.
And Jesse himself does all kinds of different alternative kind of processes, which I'm sure help you win because you've done some really fantastic pieces.
Right. No, I've of course started out with traditional photography, most people do, and just taking some straight images of what you see and getting detail work, doing macro work, people, objects, landscapes, and then I've escalated that through different explorations and experimentations.
So between Photoshop and hand alternative processes, You've come up with some really beautiful images.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and Jesse, as well as his partner Travis Rocket, have a new space in the Broadway studios, and it will be open next week for Art Hop. So let's look at some of Jesse's pictures, and he can tell us how he did each one, because it's quite a variety of different techniques. Maybe it'll inspire you to take a class next semester.
Absolutely. I encourage every single person who is very interested to look at the catalog and see what interests you at Fresno City, and please join in. It's a great program there.
So first off,
so this one right here is actually just a dried up maple leaf. It's a straight photographic image. It was also included. Most of the images here are included in that portfolio for the Barsom Award. The next one is another one of those straight images, actually smoke from an incense.
wow, and it looks like a dancer.
Right. So I actually labeled this one as Spectre because people
like
tend to see different ghost images in it. So I really like that one.
As you've progressed, and now this one
of course, we go into the photo manipulation, where I get an image
digital,
or several images and start working with them, but still staying true to some portions of that image and just working with it, kind of creating a different story or a different feel with the imagery, creating a moment rather than just capturing it.
Green Man.
Right, that's the Green Man. And then, of course, in that same series, I have another image called Lost Echo, and that one right there is another one of the
I really like
photo
this. I think I actually have this. This little, it's like a little fairy. She's running through the brush,
right?
And she's super tiny in this. It's just such a neat picture.
Right. And then from there, I kind of went into further abstracting with the photo manipulations and creating components that are either non-objective or they can just, people see different things in them. So like on the next image right here, a lot of people actually tend to say that they see an eye.
Yeah.
But it's actually, this series was created with branches and twigs that I found, and I've just reworked them and used different colorations to get a different feel from them, but they're all actually from photographs. The same thing with the next one, of course, is part of the same series,
yes,
but just
beautiful.
A different way of looking at it.
And repeating the patterns there.
Correct, yeah. So some patterns are going to go in a rotational, some patterns are just flipped over and imaged that way. This is in that series. This is particularly the next one is one of my favorites. People see mandalas, people see an eclipse. It's just color masking applied to, or color gradient masking applied to sticks and twigs that have been duplicated.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So that's one of those photo manipulations. But from there,
That's digital.
Right.
Yes, and now you've gone into the hand alternative processes, and I love this.
right. So this next image is a cyanotype image. It's an old process where you select specific archival paper, and you would have to mix the chemistry yourself and hand apply it to the
Right.
paper, let it dry, and then contact print
So the
negative.
streaks are the paint of the chemicals.
Right, that's the actual brush strokes, and every artist's hand is going to be different. So that kind of lends itself to that one-of-a-kindness of each image. They're very unique.
And what's really neat, this is a special class you can take at City College called Alternative Processes.
Correct.
With Lena Winther, and she is really a master of all kinds of different. This is just one type. Let's see the next one. We're all ready for Dia de los Muertos at Arte Americas, and here I've got this great image here.
Right, this one right here is also an interesting image, but a lot of times you look for subjects that are going to fit that process, and
Right.
back in the old days you would actually see a lot of this actually in that same process.
Yes, because it's a monotone there.
Right.
Here's another neat
Here's
one.
an interesting
This is
one.
a different process, though.
Well, it's actually a combination. It's a combination of a Van Dyke Brown and a cyanotype. You actually have to do them in two steps because, unfortunately, if those two chemicals mix while they're still active, it creates cyanide gas.
Oh, great.
So they do say that people who work in the alternative processes tend to have to create a manifesto because you can potentially harm yourself.
Wow. And this, too, is a version of it?
Well, this one actually is called a chemogram. This is actually getting black and white paper and mixing back and forth between fix and developer. And then oftentimes you're doing this in daylight, so you get some color.
So, and then the
mixes
light,
through.
in the light, you're using the actual sunlight to
Right.
process your
Right.
chemicals
Right.
there on the paper.
And you get some interesting results. I mean, even the next one is also a chemogram, but in this case, I actually put an object, in this case a leaf, in Developer, and then just smacked it on the paper, let it set, pull it off, and then. Of course,
So it's kind of a print of it.
correct.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's neat. That's a
lens
physical print of
photography.
it.
Right. Right. The next one is a similar process where you kind of reversed it, did it in Fix, and then developed it after. And I pulled it out of the Developer soon enough and refixed it so you can get some color tone in the background as well.
Wow. That is very neat. And oh yeah, this one
This-
too.
this
This is
is-
the most fantastic of them all. Yeah.
Right. This one right here is an image that's kind of a merger process. It's an alternative media. Rather than printing a photograph to traditional paper, instead what I did was I printed it to a transfer film and then transferred the pigment to an actual preserved ivy leaf.
So it's actually a like Polaroid transfer.
Similar
so
to
the
a Polaroid,
image is
yeah.
on the plastic, and you're
Right.
getting that off of the image off there in its chemical and putting it on there. Wow.
Yeah. So it's
That
a really
took
interesting one.
some doing there. I'm sure that took a few tries.
Oh, actually, that was the very first one I tried, and I tried to duplicate it, and it's been very, very trying. So,
Oh, my goodness.
I'm still trying to work with that process because I really do enjoy that.
Yeah, that's a neat one. So, Broadway Studios.
Number 5.
Number 5, I was just going to ask.
Mhm.
And then also, Spectrum's got their big auction show coming up, but that won't be till October this year.
That'll be in October at the Fresno Arts Museum on October 26th, which is a Sunday. But the actual exhibit will be up for everyone to see at Spectrum throughout October.
Okay, so who's at Spectrum this month? Do we know?
This month will be Steve Walcott.
Oh, that's right, abstracts. So that's a neat one.
And I love abstraction, so please come out to Spectrum, support the arts, and see the show.
And
Absolutely.
you'll be keeping your gallery open, though, open every art hop now.
Absolutely.
From now on.
Yep, Broadway
Yes.
Studios, number 5. I'll be there at every art
I
hop.
think you're next to Ma.
I am next to Molly.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, fantastic. I think that's what we have time for. And I want to thank you, Jesse Merrell. I'm giving you a new name.
Right.
And congratulations on winning your award.
Thank
and
you so
your,
much, Rebecca.
Scholarship.
Yeah.
I'll see you next week. Chuck will be right back.